Hello, everybody. As you may have seen over the weekend, WWE Wrestlepalooza took place over the weekend to great acclaim of all watching. Owen Mawson. Unanimously loved around the world. Yes, apart from one man, Andreas Hale, who works for ESPN, who you may have seen in the news over the last few weeks. I've got some kind of working relationship with the WWE. They've paid boatloads of cash.
This is news to me.
To stage
this is news to me.
He's being sarcastic. But now ESPN, of course, have got the relationship now with WWE. You would expect puff easy for me to say, puff pieces aplenty.
You sure would. Puff pastries, maybe?
Puff pastries as well.
Delightful. It's lunchtime here in Newcastle.
No buttery biscuit bases, though. But Andreas Hale, the combat sports reporter for ESPN, has just basically conveyed the actual thoughts of everyone watching. Yeah. I don't think anyone watching Wrestlepalooza weekend was all too impressed by what they saw.
No. Quickly, I'll just say a few decent matches on there, one in particular, which we'll get to. But overall, for a first big show on ESPN, overall, probably not a bit of a letdown.
It felt like Triple H is overpromised and underdelivered because he was like, this is going to be earth-shattering. There's going to be big surprises.
Yeah, surprises.
Yeah. Where were they?
I think it was Stephanie. Not Vicaire, Stephanie McMahon being inducted to the Hall of Fame. Anyway,
we'll get through this piece from Andreas Hale. He's basically graded what we used to do back in the day. He's gone through it match by match and given a match a grade from A to F or whatever we used to do back in the day. But he starts off, of course, with the Women's World Championship match, Io Sky versus Stephanie Vicaire. He gave it a B+. He says about the match, this is a match you should go out of your way to see. I'm going to save my thoughts and opinions. WTF coming to the Patreon later this week. I'll also be on the Cultaholic Wrestling podcast doing This Week in Wrestling. So to save myself repeating myself, I'm just going to say, Owen Mawson, do you agree or disagree with this statement there?
I agree.
There you go.
I agree. It was, as I said in the first news video, it was my match of the night at Wrestlepalooza. It was, really good. The finish, the spiral tap finisher. Oh, it's unreal. It's unreal. They did the spot with Julia in NXT, but Julia countered it, but this time she hits it, Stephanie, and she gets the win with that as well. Unbelievable match. Great result as well. It is the match of the night. He gave it a B+, which is... I'm trying to think back to the old days of graded. B+ is above decent.
Yeah, above average.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking at some of the other grades here. B+ seems a bit harsh now.
All right.
Maybe it could have been an A-. Maybe I'm being too I'm too much of a fan.
And now we're gonna set off in a ship, everybody, because we're about to sail the several seas.
Yeah, B+ is the highest we'll go. I just say, by the way, why has he done it in this order? Why is Andrea started with this match?
I don't know.
The opening match obviously was Cena and Lesnar, which we'll get. How do you want to do this?
Should we give him a ring? Do you want to ask? This is the way he laid out his report on ESPN. We'll get the next match he put in his rundown.
He's gone from best to worst.
Is that what he's done?
That's what he's done.
He's a professional.
You silly sausage.
Yeah, but now we're about to sail the several seas, as I mentioned earlier, because Grade C was given to the Usos versus The Vision. Here's what Andreas says on behalf of ESPN. The slow early pace appeared to be heading towards a strong finish before Jay was busted open by himself. More on that in news video 1, which led to a disjointed finish and stretch. This wasn't a bad match, but the Usos have certainly had better outings. Ooh.
Yeah, I probably agree with that as well, to be honest. I think the finishing stretch was a bit rushed because of obviously the injury and the botch that we talked about in news 1. It's not the best tag team match in the world. The Usos have had better matches over the years, so it's just to progress the storyline, isn't it? Really, there's not much to talk about really. LA Knight was looking away when the Usos would use the chair and stuff like that. So he was getting involved in little bits and pieces. And obviously, towards the end, Jey Uso almost hit LA Knight with the chair. So it's progressing the story a little bit. But in terms of match quality, it was just there,
I think that's why
it was good, but nothing special.
The Usos reuniting for a tag team match is why it was on a PLE, but I think everything else surrounding it just felt like a bit like a Raw match.
I think that's fair to say.
Dun dun dun. Next up, we continue sailing the several seas by having the review of
I'm expecting Kairi Sane to come out. She could have come in.
Ahoy there! But the mixed tag team match also got to see the report states the match's nearly 30-minute runtime was a bit too long, but it was great to see Lee back in action. Punk and Rollins did what they had to do to keep things chugging along. We're on a train now, apparently. The next step has to be Lee challenging Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I think we're all agreeing on that last point there. But do you think it was too long, Owen?
Yeah, I think I touched on that slightly in the first news video today. It was a little bit too long. It was a bit sloppy in places. Again, it's AJ's first match in 10 years, so that's to be expected. I think it's a little bit harsh because I think it was probably slightly better than the Usos match, but he's given them the same grade on C, as a C there. Maybe I'll put it as a C+.
A C+?
I think it was better than the Usos
Not a B-?
No.
Fair. A C+.
It was too long, to be honest.
Is this the best of the C's, do you reckon?
Probably.
Yeah? Let us know what you think in the comments down below.
Probably. But yeah, like we said in the news one, it's going to lead to AJ versus Becky. You know, this is just to get things started. It did its job in that sense. You know, it reintroduced AJ to people that haven't seen her wrestle before, and you know, her and Punk as a team before. So it did its job, fine. But nothing special.
Nothing says more of a C than fine. Next up in the C's, we have the Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre match for the undisputed WWE Championship. The report states this was a surprisingly short main event at just over 15 minutes, and it never truly had time to get out of first gear. This is scathing now coming up. This felt more like a main event of SmackDown than a headliner of a PLE.
You can't even say it.
I can't believe it's on ESPN. That's the thing. They've paid over $1 billion, isn't it, for this deal?
I know. I mean, in the
is this them saying they want more? Is this them using Andreas as a vehicle to go, this wasn't good enough, we want more?
This is the thing. It's not what he's saying that's the issue. It's the or like the surprising thing. It's the fact this man works for ESPN. It's on ESPN's website. So that's the shocking part of this. In terms of what he said there about the main event, I'm in agreement with the match length was a surprise to me because I was skimming through Netflix to get through the ads because there were ads in between matches.
Of course there were.
Not a fan of that. But I was skimming through Netflix trying to get to the main event, and I thought would just be the entrances starting. The match was already going, and there was like 15 minutes left of the show, and I was really surprised by that. So it was a bit short. If I'm honest, besides Drew going to kick Cody's head through the announce table on the outside and missing, besides that, I can't remember much about this match. I feel bad saying that. but yeah, it was fine. I mean, Drew was never going to win. It was all about establishing Cody to the ESPN audience. I guess.
There you go. New audiences coming in. I can't believe you're paying obviously you get it included with some packages in America.
Yeah.
But some people are paying $30 a month and getting adverts. That doesn't seem right to me. Surely you pay the money to get away from the adverts.
We're used to it on Netflix, but you know the character loading screens almost where they're like rotating and you know you get the funky lo-fi music. But yeah, on ESPN, if you're paying that much, you'd expect no ads. But that's what a lot of the complaints I saw online was. They were getting ads.
Disgusting. Anyway, we continue sailing through the several C's. This one gets a C-. It's John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Cena and Lesnar's 7th WWE singles encounter felt more like a prelude to the next encounter than an actual match. It was a brief and dominant win for Lesnar, which served to extend this rivalry for at least one more PLE. This match itself wasn't much of a match. There was about 6 moves in this 9-minute match. It's pretty much what you would expect out of Lesnar.
It's pretty spot on.
Ron Seal. It's what it says on the tin. You agree there?
Pretty much, yeah. It was C-. It was the worst match of the night. It was for me a letdown. I just don't know why we're wasting one of Cena's last matches on a squash match. But it will probably lead to. I don't think it'll be another one-on-one match, which you know Andreas kind of alludes to. I think we might see them in War Games.
Oh, what is the captains?
No, so well. Depends. I think it's going to be the Vision and Brock because Paul Heyman came. It was a surprise to me. Paul Heyman came out and introduced Lesnar at the start of the match. So I'm thinking maybe they cut some sort of deal where we might see Lesnar join the Vision for War Games, and then that'll be against Team Punk and Cena. So I imagine they will come up against each other again. It won't. I can't imagine it being a singles match. They will probably be in War Games.
Yeah.
But seeing Lesnar in War Games would be fun.
Would it?
I mean,
what if he's going to do 6 moves again or whatever it was? Yeah, 6 moves in a match.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, didn't think about that. I mean, it's 2025. We didn't really need to see this, did we? We didn't really need to see this.
They're playing the greatest hits, and they're playing the greatest hits.
They didn't even do that.
Yeah. But now we get to the final score, the grade given to WrestlePalooza as a whole from Andreas on behalf of ESPN, where he gives it a C. He says the Excellent for Care versus Sky match saved the show from being truly average. It was a phenomenal display inside the squared circle. Everything else was either underwhelming in brackets the short Rhodes McIntyre match or a setup for a future match in brackets Brock Lesnar and John Cena. For a card that promised to have epic moments, it fell a little short of expectations.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think overall he's pretty spot on. Again, like we were saying before, is this ESPN trying to challenge WWE to up the game for future cards?
Yeah. I think there might be a chance, yeah.
Yeah.
Because what can they do apart from the executives going to Triple H saying, hey, you've promised all these surprises. Where the hell are they?
Yeah.
Unless they're doing it more subtly like this. When it comes out of your mouth, they are just going to have executives just call up Triple H and go, hey, we want better.
I mean, yeah. And also, like, look at how stacked this card is. Although, like, the match quality overall wasn't the best. There's a lot of name power on there. I mean, they brought back Lesnar for this, for the first show on ESPN, so... You imagine they're going to double down again on the next one. What will be the next one? It'll be Crown Jewel.
Mm-hmm.
So
in Australia, I do believe.
So that'll be another stack card, I imagine. I don't think Cena's lined up for that one. Or is he? I can't remember.
But he has to be, because that's where he did his
He did.
move back in the day for the first time.
The lightning punch or whatever he
That's
called
what
it
it was
that one
called. I
time.
couldn't remember.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, I agree with what he's saying. It wasn't the strongest card. It wasn't. Again, as I've said already, the women's world title match was easily the match of the night, and Stephanie Vicarias and Io Sky were both fantastic. So that was great. Everything else was meh.
Scathing from Owen Mawson, the Andreas Hale of Cultaholic.
That's not true.
Let us know what you think about Andreas' thoughts about WrestlePalooza in the comments down below. It's interesting to read, isn't it? I think it was anyway. You might not think it was, but it was. Such is life. C'est la vie. Anyway, I've been Ross, joined by Owen. Check out all the coverage we've done over the weekend and coming up later this week on the Patreon at patreon.com/Cultaholic. And we'll see you all very, very soon.